There is a book that has been called confusing, strange, and almost impossible to finish. Many readers give up after only a few pages, yet more than a century later, millions still study it, celebrate it, and even dress as its characters once every year. That book is James Joyce's Ulysses. How did a story about one ordinary day in one ordinary man's life become one of the greatest works ever written? Most great stories are about wars, adventures, heroes, or events that change the world. Joyce did the opposite. He chose a single day, June 16, 1904, in Dublin, following ordinary people through ordinary moments. There are no great battles, no hidden treasure, no world to save. There is only human life and the endless universe of thoughts inside every mind. At the center of the story is Leopold Bloom, an advertising worker for a Dublin newspaper. During one day, he attends a funeral, goes to work, visits pubs, wanders through the city, and avoids going home because his wife Molly is about to have an affair. The plot seems small, but Joyce wanted to show something revolutionary. Inside every ordinary life, there is an epic story. The title Ulysses is not accidental. It connects to the ancient Greek hero Odysseus from the Odyssey. But instead of sailing oceans, fighting monsters, and facing gods, Bloom's journey is simply moving through a city. Joyce transforms everyday life into an epic adventure. But what makes Ulysses legendary is not only what happens, it is how the story is told. Almost every chapter is written in a completely different style. One feels like a play. Another imitates a romance novel. Another turns language into music. Joyce was not simply writing a book. He was testing the limits of language itself. Before Joyce, many novels described characters from the outside, what they did, what they said, where they went. Joyce wanted to go deeper. He tried to capture one of the most chaotic things in existence, human consciousness. Random memories, hidden fears, secret desires, thoughts that appear and disappear within seconds. This technique reaches its peak in the final chapter, when Joyce enters Molly Bloom's mind. Almost no punctuation, no traditional structure, just a continuous river of thoughts. At first, it feels confusing. Then readers realize something surprising. This is how our minds actually work every day. That is why Ulysses is both loved and feared. It is not a book designed to be consumed quickly. It does not make everything easy. It asks readers to enter a maze of language, history, memory, and human consciousness. Behind all its complexity is a very simple idea. No life is truly ordinary. Every person carries an entire world inside them. Memories, pain, hopes, and stories that others may never see. Perhaps Joyce did not only want us to read Ulysses, he wanted us to see life differently. Because sometimes the greatest adventure is not found in distant lands. It exists in an ordinary day, on a familiar street, inside the mind of an ordinary human being. When Ulysses first appeared, many people did not see it as a masterpiece. They saw it as offensive. The book was criticized for openly exploring human thoughts, bodies, and desires. It was even banned in several places. But this controversy raised an important question. Should literature only show the beautiful parts of humanity, or should it reveal the entire truth? Joyce believed real life does not work like traditional stories. Our thoughts do not appear in organized chapters. A childhood memory can suddenly return while walking down the street. A smell can transport us into the past. A simple sentence can create thousands of thoughts. Ulysses tries to capture this beautiful chaos. Reading Ulysses is like entering another person's mind without any filter. Sometimes that experience is uncomfortable, because we realize that human thoughts are not always noble or logical. They are messy, contradictory, full of fears, but also full of imagination. Joyce did not create perfect heroes. He created real human beings. This is what makes Leopold Bloom special. He is not powerful like heroes from ancient myths. He makes mistakes. He feels lonely. He doubts himself. But he also has kindness, curiosity, and the ability to keep moving through an imperfect life. Joyce turned an ordinary person into a new kind of hero. In the modern world, where billions of people seem to live ordinary lives, this message becomes even more powerful. A day at work, a small conversation, a moment of silence. These tiny experiences can contain an entire universe of meaning if we truly pay attention. Perhaps the biggest reason Ulysses has survived for more than 100 years is not because it is difficult. It is because it tries to answer one of humanity's oldest questions. What does it mean to be human? Are we only our actions, or are our hidden thoughts what truly define us? Joyce also changed the way we understand time. One day in Ulysses can contain an entire lifetime, because the past never truly disappears. It continues living in our memories, our choices, and even our smallest thoughts in the present moment. This is why every year on June 16th, people around the world celebrate Bloomsday, the day Leopold Bloom's story takes place. They are not only celebrating a book, they are celebrating an idea that ordinary life deserves to be remembered. You may read Ulysses and not understand everything. Even scholars are still debating it after more than a century, but maybe that is the point. Like life itself, this book is not a puzzle meant to be completely solved. It is an experience meant to be explored. In the end, Ulysses reminds us that great stories do not always begin with wars or distant adventures. Sometimes the greatest story begins on an ordinary morning, with an ordinary person, trying to understand themselves,